Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be going over the must-know terms in the DBD community. If you're fairly new to the game, you've probably heard a few of these terms thrown about that make absolutely no sense to you whatsoever, but every other player seems to know what they mean. But after watching this video, you should get to grips with the most need-to-know terms. This one is one of the most simple ones, as the K just stands for kills. So for example, if the killer was to kill 3 survivors and have 1 escape, the killer would have secured a 3k. This is a trick survivors use to spin the kill around, hopefully forcing them into missing their attacks. When all the gens have been completed, the survivors will usually open the exit gates straight away, but 99 in the exit gates will make it so all the survivors have to do is just tap the M1 button and it will open the gates instantly. This usually works really well if the survivors think the killer may have Blood Warden and essentially cancels that perk out. It also gives the survivors extra time to save any other survivors. A beamer is just another term for a flashlight or a flashy. All this is another term for a new player. Survivors and killers can block each other from moving. So say someone has just been downed and picked up by the killer, a survivor can go and walk in front of the killer to stop them getting towards the hook, body blocking them essentially. Other survivors can body block each other as well. BT is just shorthand for borrowed time. It's a teachable perk for Bill. This allows the unhooked survivor to gain the endurance effect, essentially a temporary second hit. When a survivor gets hooked and reaches the second stage but gets unhooked, they will be on death hook, meaning the next time they hook they will die. You can see on the HUD how many times a survivor has been hooked. If there's 2 white lines next to their name, it means they're on second stage, essentially death hook. DH. You're probably going to see this one quite regularly as it's one of the most common terms used. It stands for Dead Hard, which is one of David King's teachable perks. This is another one of the most common terms used in DBD. DS is again just shorthand for another teachable perk, but this time for Laurie Strode, called Decisive Strike. It's essentially an anti-tunnel perk. Exhaustion is a debuff that affects survivors, where it will stop them from using any exhaustion perks, e.g. Dead Hard, Sprint Burst, etc. When a survivor uses an exhaustion perk, they become exhausted, and when they aren't sprinting, the exhaustion recovers for some time for the survivor to use it again. Some killers have add-ons and perks to apply the exhaustion debuff to the survivors. Being exposed means the killer will be able to insta-down any survivor from any health state. One of the best examples for this is the Shape. When the Shape gets to tier 3, the exposed debuff is applied to all survivors, meaning they all can be put into the dying state from full health or even the injured state. Survivors can usually outlast the exposed debuff, except for killer perks such as the Spirit's Teachable Rancor. Looping is when a survivor runs the killer around in a chase, mainly by using windows and pallets, to extend the chase time and just essentially waste the killer's time and hopefully to eventually lose them. The meta is spoken about a lot in the DBD community, and all it means is that it's a general strategy used for killers or survivors. For example, the current meta is survivors using Dead Hard, Decisive Strike, Unbreakable and Borrowed Time. Amori is an offering for killers only, where they'll be able to kill a survivor without hooking them, but only if the survivor is on death hook. These offerings are hidden from survivors on the offering screen, so they won't turn around for the survivors. Noed is a killer perk called No One Escapes Death. Once all the generators are powered, an unlit totem becomes lit and Noed activates, making all alive survivors exposed permanently. If the survivors cleanse a totem, Noed will deactivate and the exposed debuff will expire. This perk only activates if there are totems available for the perk to attach to. A slug is just a survivor in the dying state, so when the killer has hit you for the second time and you're laying on the floor. It's called a slug mainly because you're crawling around like a slug. Swift is shorthand for survive with friends. All this means is it's people queued up together. 2, 3 or 4 friends queued together, they're essentially called a Swift team. Teabagging is a gesture used in every game you can think of that has multiplayer. The players spam the crouch button and they'll keep standing and crouching up, basically teabagging. Only a few killers such as Ghostface and Pig can actually do this because they have the ability to crouch, but all survivors can do this. Usually survivors do it to annoy the killer. Tunneling is when the killer will only focus on one person to keep hooking and killing them. If a survivor saves someone, for example, a tunneling killer will go after the person that just got unhooked and not the person who saved. Tunneling is usually frowned upon, but people use it as a legitimate strategy to secure a kill. So those are the basic terms that every DBD player should know. If there are any terms that I've missed out that should be included, Let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of the content. You can follow me on all my socials down in the description below, and you can join the Monkey Nuts Discord server with the link below. Thanks for watching.